Good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of my co-convenor, Gerald Campano, and the student coordinators, Emily Plummer and Chris Rogers, I'm Vivian Gadsden, and we want to welcome you to this, the 41st Ethnography Conference or Forum. That's what I said. This is an incredibly important conference for the University of Pennsylvania and the Graduate School of Education. It's a conference that originated here with, as you will see from the history, incredible scholars from around the country. It is, at the time that it was started, it was unique in its student coordinated focus. It wasn't the only such conference that was coordinated by students, but certainly was one of the first, and certainly one of the first with the national implications and focus. So we are just very pleased to have you here. I was just thinking this morning about the ways in which this forum has unfolded over time, the intellectual curiosity that it represents, the intellectual breadth and depth, but also the professional humanity and the care that it also represents. And because we are in an outstanding school of education, in fact, I would say the #1 school of education, as it turns out, we are very much advantaged. We talk a lot about privilege. We are privileged in this environment to be able to have such a fine school and terrific students. And one of the ways in which that school has developed over time has been through our great and wonderful deans who have supported the Ethnography Forum. Otherwise, we would not be able to have this. And I am particularly delighted to be able to introduce our dean, Dean Grossman, who has been an incredible supporter of the forum, but also an outstanding scholar in our field. We have, her own work is focused on teaching and teacher education, but that work on teaching and teacher education actually embraces a broad array of issues that have to do with the quality of the experience of students and teachers in and out of school. So rather than continue to waste your time hearing my perspective, I'll allow you to be enriched by the experience of meeting Dr. and Dean Campano.
So welcome to Penn GSE and to the 41st Ethnography of Education Research Forum. I guess this makes it middle age. We're so delighted that you're all here, and I know that you're in for a very rewarding, those two, a very rewarding couple of days. As many of you know, the Ethnography Forum is a very special institution. It was one of the very first things I knew about Penn GSE back when I was a graduate student at Stanford, studying with George and Louise Spindler, who talked about this. And I think of the forum as an institution that's characterized as much by the people who created and sustained it and their values as by its focus on ethnography and education. So many people that I've long known and admired have had their hands in shaping this forum and gave me my first impression of Penn GSE. And when I was approached about becoming the dean, one of the main things I knew about was the existence of this forum. And as a place that cares deeply about equity and community. People like Gerald Campano and Vivian Gadsden, Nancy Hornberger and Fred Erickson, for whom the book award is going to be named, Susan Lytle and Marilyn Cochran-Smith, Kathy Schultz and Stanton Wortham, Kathy Hall, all people who were deeply committed to the forum and its sustenance. One of the enduring characteristics of the forum has been around connections. The work presented at the forum is deeply connected to families, to communities, and to the world of practice. but it also creates a space to forge connections among new and emerging scholars and longtime practitioners. As I look at the program today, I see so many connections across generations. People who have gotten to know each other through the forum, who come back, who started out as students and then come back as presenters, people who are connected, who may never have met, but are connected through shared commitments and ideas and come together around those. So in a world that feels deeply fragmented right now, the forum to me represents a deep connection that can sustain the work and each other. The forum is also a multi-generational space that honors the importance of supporting the next generation. And I love the central role that students have always played in the forum. From almost at the very beginning, students have done a lot of the work and the creative intellectual energy around organizing the forum. And so many of both our current and former GSE students come back year after year to make the forum a success. Some of the students have gone on to become professors elsewhere and then return to us as keynoters, like Lolita Basudeva. That's a great example. This is a space to celebrate and support the work of newcomers. And those are rare spaces where people can try out new ideas and be supported of those, as well as supporting the old-timers among us to make space, again, to honor the contributions of people like Fred Erickson and Nancy Warrenberger who paved the way. So in a time of divisiveness, the forum provides an opportunity to learn from multiple perspectives, multiple generations, and to engage in a community that's characterized, as Vivian said, by intellectual generosity. So to me, this forum speaks volumes about the enduring values of Penn GSE. And I want to thank everyone here who's helped, again, shape the forum and continue those values. So I want to thank Vivian, Gadsden, and Gerald, Campano, who represent these values of connection, community, and intellectual generosity every single day. I want to thank the doctoral student coordinators, Christopher Rogers and Emily Plummer, for taking up the mantle of student leadership and sustaining the forum, and have done so brilliantly. I want to thank Mary Yee, Suzanne O, Alex Pozesnik, who have worked so hard over the years to support the forum in myriad ways, and sometimes invisible ways. And I want to thank all the other GSE students and staff who every year turn out to support these 2 days and to make it a seamless experience. So I wish you a generative 2 days filled with lively conversations and the opportunity to forge connections to colleagues new and old.
Great, thank you so much. That's a wonderful, wonderful introduction. So we have what we hope will be an rewarding 2 days for you. This forum, as Dean Grossman noted, would not be possible without your generous support, your receiving our invitations to participate in the forum. And you are sending us such rigorous and deeply stimulating topics as the focus of your work. So we welcome you from 30th and Market, which is down the street, and we welcome you from various places around the country. So this year's forum is focused on partnerships for change. And it's a curious thing. I realize that somehow the forum's themes have been quite coordinated with ARA's themes. Not sure how that happens. I really am not sure how that happens because I had no control over ARA this year. But it kind of speaks to the importance of these topics, whether it's around deepening our commitments to equity, equality, and change, or whether it's focused on the ways in which we speak to embrace and engage the diverse communities whose midst we enter regularly, whose attention we ask for, and who so generously give us a window into their lives, both to inform the field, but also to inform the ways in which we can understand our work. This year's theme, or focus on partnerships, is intended to highlight the possibilities that exist for us to make these connections. For us to both consider the ways in which our work can both address major problems that are being faced, but as Dean Grossman noted, the ways in which, in the midst of incredible disarray, I unfortunately did listen to the news last night, but in the midst of disarray, or in the midst of what we think is tranquility, we can understand how those who are among the least of us, the people who are both struggling and those who experience a slightly more entitled experience, make it through the world. And so we have been intentional in focusing on specific topics for this forum. We have a terrific lineup of speakers for the views by two, Professor Roberto Gonzalez and Leslie Bartlett, and they're going to talk a lot about, do an exchange on migration and dislocation and contemporary perspectives. We will have Lalita Vasudevan, who is a graduate of our program and my program, and GSE. So yeah, we're delighted to have her back, as she is doing outstanding work. I actually want to say something about Lalita. So I had reason to read a lot of Lalita's work at a point when I had not really been keeping up with it. And I read it and I thought, oh my God, we taught her so much. She is so good. And I really was so impressed with the breadth of the work that she's been doing. Holly Link from Cincinnati, who's another one of our graduates. Our colleague Deb Thomas from the anthropology department. And then tomorrow night, Gabrielle Oliveira, who is the winner of the 2019 book award and who's coming here from Boston College. I just want to say, Holly, while you did not come from RWL, we also are incredibly impressed with the work that you have done with Sakata, and that's really an example of partnerships, the work that she's done. But all of our speakers kind of really represent the richness and potential for our field. Roberto, as you know, has done and continues to do expansive and eye-opening research on the undocumented. Leslie Bartlett has focused so beautifully on the ways in which issues of migration are talked about and recorded. Deb Thomas kind of represents the newer phases and experimental forms of thinking about ethnography, something that Margaret Eisenhart talks about in an article that she wrote, the ways in which ethnography is inventing and reinventing itself even as we watch it. And then, of course, Gabrielle, who wrote a terrific book. So this forum has multiple dimensions. We have opportunities to even think more creatively about how to do it. So we invite you not only to attend the sessions, but be sure to attend the sessions, but also to share with us ideas that you think might enhance the forum. Help us be more cutting edge as our field grows and as our field becomes more simplified and more complex at the same time. As the lives of the people whom we study and with whom we study are under siege in many ways, and the ways in which we can think about next steps. My colleague, Gerald Campano, will now do a beautiful transition.
I just have a couple things to say. I think Dean Grossman and Dr. Gadsden said it perfectly. We're very grateful to have you all here. We know this is a busy time of year, and you're pulled in many different directions, and there are other fantastic conferences to go to, so choosing to come here really means a lot to us. I just also want to make sure that there are many people who have really worked so hard to make this happen. You mentioned Chris and Emily. There's also graduate student Yiheng Shi. I'm not sure if Yiheng is here right now. Charles Washington at the camera. Let's begin giving him a round of applause. Terrence Newby. Just there's so many details that go into planning a conference like this. And when you have the opportunity and you see someone who's doing that work, please extend your gratitude. Practitioner Inquiry Day has been around for, I think, 3 decades now, at least. And it's always been a space where both university-based researchers, but also teachers and educators can come together in the spirit of collaborative knowledge production. But in recent years, and actually for its long history, but in recent years, it's really even expanded the range of participants to include families, youth, community leaders, and community members. And that's a really powerful aspect of the conference. So tomorrow, you'll see in the hallways many youth, not only from Sakate, but from all over the country, and even nearby, youth and families from St. Thomas Aquinas and South Philadelphia. And they're all part of our more expansive intellectual community, really behind the idea of viewing research as an epistemic right, that everyone has the right to know and investigate issues that impact their lives and experiences, especially issues related to educational justice and equality. So please, if you see young people, we're going to have middle school youth, high school youth, even young children, to elders in the community, leaders and adults. Please do everything you can to make them feel welcome at all, also on our campus. Other than that, I'm very excited. There's a reminder, there's different traditions that happen at the forum. One is a data analysis session where individuals bring in data that still hasn't been completely analyzed, to create a context for dialogue around it and look at it from different kind of conceptual lenses. That's really powerful. I would check those out. We also have senior, I'm not sure if we're using that term, senior scholar, lunch or brown bags. Mature scholars. And also there's all the conversations that happen in the hallway, that happen at lunch, to really try to foster, a genuine and generous intellectual community. So thank you so much for being here.
So, we have our first sessions beginning really, really soon. So I just want to talk just a couple logistics. As you can see, there's construction happening in this corridor, so we have to add an additional building. All the sessions are going to be happening in 3 buildings. The building you're in right now is Steitler Hall. Right across the way, if you go out to our immediate left, is Solomon Hall. There's a presentation room there, Solomon B35. We'll have sessions in. And then most of the sessions will be in the GSC building, which is immediately behind us, or straight that way. In order to get into GSC, you will have to go through the front door. So you have to come around and then come through the front. As long as you have your name tag, show your name tag to Jasmine, she'll be at the door. Let her know, and you go on right to your sessions. There's signs. There's also volunteers there to help with technology concerns. All our volunteers have volunteer placards Launch Assist Coordinator. And you can, we want as much feedback as possible. If you have any questions, we're also thinking of how we can accommodate things, whether it be print devices or if you need something. So please let us know if you have any questions. Yeah. All right. So we can go ahead and get started. And if you have any problems with the app, let us know too. Sessions are beginning. We'll be back